There has to be a way to play a live set in FL Studio.
Ableton Live.
To Ableton Session View.
Ableton Live.
Ableton
12. Ableton Live 12.
Ableton.
Shake your hand. I want to shake his hand. I want to shake his hand. I want to shake his hand. Before me off the plate. I want to shake his hand. That's all I want to do. All I want to do. You stupid son of a...
For the last 2 years, I've been lurking on Reddit and DMing tech support like my life depends on it, all to answer one very important question. Can I use this with this and a pile of hardware synths for a legit live setup in FL Studio? Today I'm showing you the 2024 state of performance mode. I've built a workflow that maps masters effects, blends tracks seamlessly, and makes DJ consoles feel slightly overrated. So let's dive in. During my search, I found a thread from the ImageLine devs asking for feedback on what could make FL Studio better. Naturally, I slid in with performance mode glow up wishlist, casually hinting, hey, maybe take a page or two from Ableton's book. Stick around till the end because their response was some spicy gossip. So grab your meals, beverages, or whatever it is that you're into, and let's get nerdy. I want to give a huge shout out to all the peeps who checked out my last sound pack. Want to be featured in one of my next videos, drop something in the comment, or just go grab one of my free sample packs. In this video, I want to inspire you with a setup that you can use comfortably to mix between tracks in FL Studio like a traditional DJ console. You just won't be able to scratch your way through this. You'll be able to control panning on the channel rack using the knobs like on the Akai controller or any other MIDI keyboard. This workflow also enables you to add effects to the master rack. In this instance, I have reverb, chorus, and EQ all mapped and being controlled using the Korg Nano Control 2. You can set this up to any other MIDI controller if you like. You can also comfortably add ear candy as top lines to this live performance using guitars, drums, or whatever it is that you feel like. The second workflow that I want to show you in this video for performance mode is I'm finding myself using this setup a lot as an improv rig using my external synths. Using them together in this setup has really opened up a sonic palette for me. So with this video, my intent is to inspire you to try to do this with your rigs too. There's also another third way that I've been using performance mode as a tool of arranging my tracks. So I want to also show you that in this video, so stick around till the end. Two years ago, I found this sub where someone asked, can FL Studio be used for live performances? Enter Reddit wisdom. We've got one Redditor saying, absolutely no issues. There's a lot of legwork involved. Amen, brother, it's doable. And then there's this guy. Ableton is a better solution. Someone else said, performance mode is a poor attempt to mimicking Ableton Live. And then I love how this other guy responds to him saying, that's like blaming FL Studio because you don't know how to play the piano. And then there's another Redditor who said he just hasn't figured out how to use it yet. Brother, this video is for you. Let's make it happen. According to Google, FL Studio versus Ableton Live's performance mode comes down to this. Ableton is the more polished solution. FL Studio is for the ones who are already in the scene, have been there for a while, and really don't want to hop ship. And who doesn't want to hop ship? I and ChatGPT seems to also agree that Ableton has got the edge. But for FL users, come on. Visual, intuitive, and grid-based triggering is where it's at. So here's the setup that I'm running. The Akai Fire is for triggering the Korg Nano Control for mixer slots. An external sense running through an external mixer. No DJ console needed unless you're planning on scratching your way through life. Damn, that's a bad joke. For my hour-long sets, this workflow keeps it smooth and simple. Alright, let's dive straight into the workflow setup. The Akai Fire is already pre-mapped to work seamlessly with FL Studio. Just hit performance mode to activate performance mode. Damn bro, how hard is this one, dude? Navigate effortlessly through your patterns, VSTs and sounds. Hold down the Alt button and use the scroll wheel. These lit up pads that you see across the entire keyboard, they trigger the sounds. Lit up pads represent active sounds. Keep in mind that two sounds can't be played at the same time in a row. They can only play and stack vertically. This is how I've set it up. The first two pad rows are deck A and deck B, are basically trying to mimic a traditional DJ console. So these are going to be holding my bass tracks, which I won't be performing live. Remaining rows here are labeled for specific instruments in my set. This is the play button on the Akai Fire and it's pretty straightforward. Now pressing any unlit pad on any of these rows instantly stops the corresponding track. For really smooth transitions, I highly recommend numbering and naming your layers thoughtfully. Group them by scales or purpose of your set. So let's get started. I'm easing the sound in with the volume fader. Next to it is the pan knob. I'll also tweak the EQ cutoff and resonance knobs for more depth. Now, track names and your VST details are visible on this tiny but clear screen. Without holding Alt, the scroll wheel moves between playlist pages on the Akai Fire. With so many layers available, running out of space won't be an issue. Now, holding the Alt plus scroll wheel, as I mentioned earlier, is your go-to for cycling through the sounds in your project. This might seem like a bit of a cumbersome workflow, but once I started flowing with this workflow, it felt really intuitive. I just want to add in the middle of this video that this is not a sponsored video by FL or any of these little MIDI devices that I'm using. I'm just trying to inspire you to set up your own rig if you feel like FL isn't capable enough for a live set. So I just wanted to put that out there. Cool. Next up, I'm slowly introducing the second layer, which I've labeled string. Just like before, tapping the pad, adjusting the volume, tweaking the pan, using the cutoff, and the resonance until it feels just right. Repeat the same steps for the next sound: volume cutoff, resonance. With this workflow, it ensures that every performance feels pretty unique, which is part of what makes it so exciting, and I really wanted to put this out as a video. You can keep cycling through using the volume, using the cutoff, and the resonance on each individual layer. Now, next, let's bring in a synth layer and add even more layers. How perfect does that sound, right? Even with my guitar and hardware synths running simultaneously with this setup, FL didn't really skip a beat. And I don't really have the highest end PC out there, so just bear that in mind. Let's introduce some drums now. Adjusting the pan, tweak, the cutoff, and also be dialing in the resonance. More guitar. It's really intuitive and smooth to use. With the Nano Control 2, I'm handling master chain effects. You can customize this setup to fit your own sound, and my experience using a guitar integration within this live set was flawless. Now, let's scroll up and bring in the first track from deck 1. Navigating to deck 1 using the naming convention, so make sure your naming convention is really on point. Now, I'm preparing to transition by gradually removing layers from the opening track. While designing your set, focus on the intros and outros of your tracks to identify seamless transition. You can either use the Akai Fire or the Nano Control 2 volume knobs to fade them out even more seamlessly. During transitions, experiment with knobs to adjust the volume, automate effects, or fine-tune panning for each individual layer. Pretty smooth, right? Use the scroll wheel and then turn off all unlit buttons in the playlist except for Decay, which is still active. Remember to layer in effects on your mixer chain. They're fully controllable through either another MIDI keyboard or your nano controller. Now here's a blend between Deck A and Deck B. I'm gonna warn you, this isn't my finest transition, and I'm pretty sure you can do way better. This is just to show you what's possible. Now remember to get creative with the master effect chain. To wrap up our set, I thought of bringing it full circle and closing with the opener sounds. So here's how that might sound. I really can't wait to see how you incorporate this workflow for your music. Now that you've seen the demo of this setup and how I use it, let's assume you've finished writing a track. Head over to Options, Macros, and prepare for performance mode. Be sure to save 2 copies of your project because this step isn't reversible. Cool, here's where all your sounds come into play. Drag your patterns into the playlist like this. And notice how the Akai fire lights up. It shows you exactly which pad corresponds to each sound. You can easily add or delete pads by right-clicking on them. Watch as I delete a few. Notice how these pad names auto-update. I'll drag in a few more here to demonstrate. Let me speed this part up for you. These pads aren't just for triggering sounds, you can also trigger automations using them. I've deleted the extra pads for clarity. As you can see, everything runs pretty smooth in the Akai Fire controller. Now let's focus on playlist layers. Right-click here on any layer and you'll see my performance settings. For my setup, I've chosen Retrigger, Stay for 4 beats, and a few other tweaks. Feel free to copy these and experiment to find what suits your workflow. If you followed all these steps correctly, you're all set to trigger sounds and arrange your track in real time. No more dragging and dropping like before. This workflow is actually an incredibly engaging way to interact with your music, and I highly recommend you try it out. So, can FL Studio handle live gigs? Absolutely. It's not perfect. Ableton has definitely got the edge in most of the areas, but for FL diehards like me, performance mode is a legit option. And with lifetime free updates, ImageLine is just getting started. And about that dev reply that I hinted at earlier in the video, there are major updates due for performance mode, as you can see with this reply here. Looks like FL Studio is finally growing up. That's it for today, but before you leave, go check the description down below. I've linked the official FL Studio Performance Mode guide along with the YouTube videos that helped me nail this setup. And hey, grab some free sounds while you're at it. Links in description below. Also remember to drop a comment on how you use performance mode in FL Studio. Until next time, random citizen, stay safe, stay creative. This was Anglo. Peace the hell out.